They told you there were 7 chakras. That's the standard story, neat, easy, boxed in. But what if I told you there's one more, quietly influencing your thoughts, your emotions, your choices, even the version of reality you wake up in every morning? It's not found in most books. In fact, many spiritual systems skip over it entirely. Why? Because it doesn't fit the linear model. It bends time, breaks patterns, and reprograms the way you experience existence. This hidden chakra doesn't just tweak your energy, it recalibrates the entire lens through which you see the world. If you've ever felt like you're living on autopilot, repeating loops you know you didn't choose, or like you're caught between versions of yourself, this is the missing piece you've been sensing. And here's the part no one talks about: activating this chakra doesn't require years in a cave or expensive retreats. It requires frequency, awareness, and a willingness to remember what your soul already knows. In the next few minutes, you'll uncover what's been quietly shaping your life all along, and how to take back the controls. But be warned, once you see through the veil, there's no going back. Most people grow up thinking there are just 7 chakras, the big names we all hear about in yoga classes or spiritual books. But tucked away between the main centers, like a secret passage in a house you thought you knew, there's a hidden chakra that changes the whole game. It doesn't shout like the others, it whispers. Ancient texts only hint at it, as if its knowledge wasn't meant for the masses, but for those ready to dig deeper into the realms of vibrational energy and perception. And when someone finally connects to it, well, things start to shift in ways they can't quite explain. This chakra sits in a subtle space, somewhere between the known and the unknown, between where logic ends and intuition begins. It's not about location, like above the navel or between the brows, it's about frequency. It's the kind of energy center that shows up only when your system is refined enough to notice its presence. Think of it like a radio signal you couldn't hear until you tuned your inner receiver just right. And once you hear it, the noise of the world fades, and clarity begins to emerge. Those rare traditions that do mention this chakra describe it as a gate, not just a portal to mystical experiences, but a bridge between matter and consciousness. It doesn't just affect your inner world, it's deeply linked to how you interpret what's real. That's why some people who accidentally activate it during deep meditation or trauma start seeing through illusions, sometimes literally. They gain access to a level of self-knowledge that feels like remembering something they never consciously learned. I remember a student once asking, "Why does everything feel like a dream lately?" And all I could do was smile, because once this hidden chakra stirs, reality begins to loosen. Colors deepen. Emotions feel layered. Time gets slippery. You realize you're standing between 2 worlds, and that's exactly where you're meant to be, because that's where you'll start to see how this quiet chakra has been shaping your life all along, even before you knew it existed. Here's the kicker: even when it's dormant, this hidden chakra is already influencing your life. It's like background software, always running, quietly adjusting how you process thoughts, emotions, even your sense of possibility. You think you're making decisions based on logic or willpower, but so often you're actually reacting to invisible energetic patterns. It decides which emotions rise to the surface and which beliefs feel true, and most people never question why. They just keep repeating the same loops, not realizing those loops have an energetic anchor. This chakra filters your reality like a lens, shaping what you attract and how you interpret what shows up. Let's say you're always attracting chaotic relationships or hitting financial walls. It might not be bad luck or karma at all. It might be that your vibrational energy is tuned to a frequency that keeps you stuck in that version of reality. Until you change the signal, you stay locked in. That's why affirmations alone often don't work. The chakra has to shift first. Once this center begins to wake up, though, things get interesting, fast. You might start feeling like your life is being edited in real time, new people show up, synchronicities increase, and old habits start to fall away almost effortlessly. That's not coincidence. It's resonance. This chakra acts like the central control panel for your frequency. And when you retune that frequency, the movie of your life starts to play out differently, as if someone changed the script behind the scenes. One client of mine described it perfectly after a breathwork session. She said, "I didn't change what I saw. I changed how I saw it, and then everything else just shifted." That's what happens when this forgotten chakra gets activated. You don't have to force change anymore. You align with it. And in that alignment, something remarkable starts to unfold, the ability to see yourself living multiple lives, all shaped by one subtle energetic source. Now here's where it gets wild. This hidden chakra isn't just shaping your current life, it's tuning you into other versions of it. You know those moments where you think, what if I had made a different choice back then? Well, according to ancient esoteric maps, and backed by quantum models, you did. That version of you exists. And this chakra? It's the dial that decides which of those parallel realities you're aligned with right now. It's not science fiction. It's vibrational alignment in action. You're shifting between timelines all the time, usually unconsciously, based on your emotional state, belief system, and energetic charge. If you're constantly operating in fear or scarcity, guess what? You're probably tuned into a version of reality where chaos and limitation are the norm. This chakra determines that setting. But when you learn to consciously direct it, through awareness, breath, and intention, you can start jumping into timelines that reflect peace, abundance, and clarity. No need for drama. Just frequency. I once met a man who swore his life reset after a spontaneous spiritual awakening. One day he was homeless and addicted, the next he had clear visions, job offers, and reconnections he never thought possible. What changed? He unknowingly activated this chakra and shifted into a parallel timeline where his soul's potential could finally play out. And it's not rare. I've seen this happen countless times, people skipping years of struggle by learning to change their energetic broadcast. So if you've ever felt like you were meant for something else, maybe it's because you've already lived it in another strand of time. And maybe, just maybe, this chakra is how you find your way back. But how exactly do you activate it, and tune your vibrational energy to resonate with the reality you truly want? If you're wondering how to actually wake this thing up, the answer isn't in brute force, it's in frequency. This hidden chakra doesn't respond to willpower or rigid discipline. It responds to vibration. That's why sound is so effective. Simple practices like humming at the back of your throat, chanting deep tones like ing or om, or even listening to 963 Hz frequencies can gently stir this center. It's not about volume, it's about resonance. And your body knows the difference. Color, too, plays a role. Visualization isn't just woo-woo, it's how you imprint the nervous system with energy blueprints. Deep indigo, crystalline violet, or shimmering silver are often linked to this chakra. Try lying down, breathing slowly, and visualizing a thin thread of that light weaving between your crown and heart. Feel it pulsing. Subtle at first, but unmistakable. That visual frequency helps signal to the chakra, hey, it's safe to awaken now. Another gateway. Breathwork. But not just any kind, we're talking slow, rhythmic breathing that involves the spine. Try this. Inhale for 4 seconds as if drawing energy up your back, hold for 4, then exhale as if washing light down your front. Repeat this for 5 to 10 minutes. You're not just calming the mind, you're creating a vibrational wave through the body that taps this forgotten center awake. And every cycle brings it closer to coherence. But perhaps the most overlooked technique is inquiry, not asking the mind, but the field. Sit in meditation and drop a question into the silence. Who was I before the world told me who to be? Or, where does my awareness truly begin? These questions carry frequency. They stir the chakra into remembering. And as it begins to stir, strange things start to happen in your perception. But how do you know it's actually awakening? When this hidden chakra begins to stir, it doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it whispers first. You might start noticing strange moments of clarity, like déjà vu that feels a little too real. Time begins to slip, stretch, and fold in unusual ways. You'll glance at the clock and wonder how hours vanished, or why one conversation seemed to last forever. It's not your mind playing tricks. It's your perception shifting as vibrational energy recalibrates. People often describe tingling or pulsing sensations in places that don't line up with the usual 7 chakras. Like an itch in midair. A pressure behind the chest but not in the chest. These aren't random. They're energetic echoes. The body is mapping new neural territory as the chakra begins to come online. You might even feel like your inner GPS got scrambled, but that's just the old system glitching as a new layer of self-knowledge kicks in. What's wild is how insights start arriving. Not the kind you read in books, but sudden, visceral knowing. You might get flashes of your life purpose, your karmic loops, or your soul's intent like puzzle pieces falling into place. One woman I worked with said she suddenly knew why every major event in her life happened the way it did, and it brought her to tears. That's not just awakening. That's integration. That's the chakra giving you a backstage pass. And just when you think it can't get weirder, reality starts to play along. You'll notice more synchronicities. Numbers, symbols, dreams, chance encounters, all syncing up like some kind of cosmic conspiracy. But this isn't coincidence. It's your vibrational field broadcasting on a new wavelength. And when that happens, your everyday life starts to feel a lot less everyday. Which leads to the most powerful phase of all, living with this chakra fully awake. Once this chakra is fully active, life doesn't just feel different, it is different. You move through the world with a strange mix of peace and precision. You no longer second-guess yourself because self-knowledge flows without resistance. It's not ego, it's alignment. You become less interested in playing roles and more committed to living your truth, even if that truth doesn't make sense to others. And honestly, that's freedom most people never taste. Decisions become clearer because you're no longer choosing from fear or habit, you're sensing from a deeper current. You begin to read energy instead of analyzing it. Imagine walking into a room and instantly feeling who's out of alignment, what's unsaid, and what's needed, without anyone speaking a word. That's the level of attunement we're talking about. Not mystical fluff, but grounded, intuitive precision rooted in vibrational energy. Emotions shift from being overwhelming forces to navigational tools. You don't suppress them or drown in them anymore, you use them. Anger becomes a boundary compass. Sadness becomes a call for presence. Joy becomes an energetic confirmation. This chakra allows you to dance with life, not brace against it. You're no longer reacting to your reality, you're co-creating it, moment by moment, breath by breath. And perhaps the most beautiful part. The illusion of separation starts to dissolve. You realize that every being, every event, every version of yourself across parallel realities is part of one great unfolding. It's not about escaping the world, it's about seeing it for what it truly is, a living, breathing mirror of your inner frequency. And once you're here, the old questions start to fade, and a new one rises: what do I choose to create next? So now that you know, what are you going to do with it? Will you keep living in the loop, letting your reality be shaped by unconscious patterns? Or will you start tuning in, aligning with your true vibrational energy, and consciously shifting the timeline you're in? Because here's the truth, you're not stuck. You're not broken. You're just not fully online, yet. Imagine how different your life could look if you awakened that hidden chakra and accessed real self-knowledge, not the kind fed to you by society, but the kind that flows from deep within. What if peace, clarity, and synchronicity weren't random? What if they were the natural result of living in alignment with your parallel realities? So, are you ready to step into that version of yourself? If this resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. This is just the beginning, there's so much more to uncover about the energetic blueprint that shapes your entire life. Don't just absorb this knowledge, apply it. Embody it. And let the transformation begin.